I really didn't know what to do for a few months. I felt that I'd let the previous generation of entrepreneurs down.
再学一个字，previous. I know you understand previous generation. It's the people older than you, seniors. Okay, and learn one word. How do you pronounce this? entrepreneurs. 哇，超长的字，很恐怖。来，我们先记它的音。Enter. Have you ever heard the word entrepreneurship? 创业，然后那个大的事业，伟大的企业 ，entrepreneurs， 就是人哦 ，entrepreneur 有一个 R 嘛，所以它是人，业界，好，业界业者 ，entrepreneur，OK。Can you repeat that? Go. Entrepreneur. Entrepreneur，然后在后面企业叫 entrepreneurship，S-H-I-P，yes， 好，创业我们就知道 entrepreneurship，OK，so he thought that he let the entrepreneurs down，OK， 让人家失望了啊。
That I dropped the baton as it was being passed to me.
什么叫 baton? He dropped the baton. What is baton? Baton. Anybody? Baton? When can you see the baton? In a parade, right? Okay. You see somebody, doing this at the end, in the front of a parade. 他手上拿了一个长长的棒棒，或者有一个鼎，然后这样子挥的。That is baton. Okay. 或者是比赛的时候一个接力赛跑的那个棒。Okay. So.
I met with David Packard and Bob Noyce and tried to apologize for screwing up so badly.
学一个片语，这个片语原本是脏话，OK， 但是呢，后来因为它太多人用了，所以呢，把事情搞砸了，就用这个片语。So you need to learn that. It's a fast word to learn in a language. You learn the dirty words first. Okay, I'm sure they can say a whole lot of them. Okay, this is one of them. 叫 screwed up. Screwed up. 对 ，screwed up 就是把什么东西搞了坏了，搞砸了，推了。blow up 也可以。Okay, I blew something up. Okay, I blew up something. 把事情弄糟糕了。Okay, so screwed up. So he, apologized for screwing up so badly. They did something wrong so badly. Okay.
I was a very public failure, and I even thought about running away from the valley. But something slowly began to dawn on me.
这边要讲的是另外一个动词 dawn, D-A-W-N. Dawn means daylight, the breaking of the day, 就是天亮的时候。Okay, so 它可以当动词 could be a verb. So something began to dawn on somebody. Okay, dawn means hope, turning up hope for someone.
I still loved what I did. The turn of events at Apple had not changed that one bit. I'd been rejected, but I was still in love.
Okay, so he was rejected. 他曾经被拒绝过 but he's still in love with something that he loved to do.
And so I decided to start over. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Okay, getting fired from Apple could be the best thing happened to him. Okay.
The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life.
Okay, 好，这样接下来是你要写这个填充的时候，对不对？ Yeah, I think you need to fill in the blanks in your worksheets. You can free him from doing something, right?
During the next 5 years, I started a company named Next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. Pixar went on to create the world's first computer-animated feature film.
来，电脑动画 ，How do you say that？ 电脑 computer 动画叫 ，Yeah，你写 喜欢看那个电影里面那个动画的电影，叫 animation， 对不对？Yeah， 它的动词叫 animated，so computer animated film or computer animation film 都能用啊。所以这个字是 animation。这个字很简单记，是它跟 animal 很像，对不对？为什么叫动物？因为它会动啊，所以它的字根就从那个 animal， 真的从 animal 来的 A-N-I-M-A 有没有 ？animal 不是动物吗？它会动，所以 animate 就是动画 ，animation 是动画的名词。好 ，so computer animated films，OK， 是电脑动画。
Toy Story, and is now the most successful animation studio in the world. In a remarkable turn of events, Apple bought Next, and I returned to Apple, and the technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. And Maureen and I have a wonderful family together. I'm pretty sure none of this would have happened if I hadn't been fired from Apple. It was awful tasting medicine, but I guess the patient needed it.
良药苦口 So the medicine tastes awful, right? So awful tasted medicine 是很苦的药，吃起来很难吃的药。So it was like the awful tasted medicine, but the patient needed it. OK， 好，就这个病人是需要他的 awful tasting medicine. OK，taste awful.
Sometimes life's going to hit you in the head with a brick.
Oh, this is great expressions. Hit someone in the head with something. 比如说你的 partner 用一个铁棒打你 ，so he hit me in the head with a stick. Okay, 好 ，so the God hit him in the head with a brick， 用一个砖头丢到他脑袋上，所以意思是说他突然间碰到人生很大的打击。Okay.
Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love. And that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work.
Do what you believe is great work.
And the only way to do great work is to love what you do.
You need to love what you do, okay?
If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle.
He didn't use don't stop, 对不对？有没有发现他用了一个字叫 settle，S-E-T-T-L-E，don't settle. In English there's an expression called, settle for the second. Second 是老第二，对不对？ So settle for the second 就是我第一拿不到，所以我OK 啦，好，那我就接受那个拿第二个就好。So settle 的有一点是追求其次的，或者是甘愿、甘心，好，那我就甘心拿一个比较烂的。Okay, so he asked you to don't settle, keep looking, don't settle. Okay, 就是要锲而不舍的一直去追求那个你想要的，好，就是 settle 这个字。
As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years go on. So keep looking, don't settle.
Yeah, keep looking, don't settle. Okay, second, settle to the second, to the not that. Good.
My third story is about death. When I was 17, I read a quote that went something like, "If you live each day as if it was your last, someday you'll most certainly be right."
If you live the day as your last day, and someday you will certainly be right.
I read a quote that went something like, "If you live each day as..."
See, if you live each day as it was your last, it's your last day, okay? And someday you will certainly be right, okay? 你终有一天会做正确的决定 ，okay?
As if it was your last, someday you'll most certainly be right. It made an impression on me, and since then, for the past 33 years, I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today?
Yeah, okay. So you have to ask yourself if you're on the right track.
And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death.
Okay, so all these things will be fade away, 退却了 in the face of death. Like, for example, 再听一次
choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations,
外在期望叫 external expectations, okay?
all pride,
Pride,
all fear of embarrassment,
fear of embarrassment, okay? 害怕那个 embarrassment 是受窘，对不对？很糗，对不对 ？Okay, so fear of embarrassment, pride, and external expectation will all fade away.
these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose.
Okay, how? Because in the face of death, you got nothing to lose, right?
You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had a scan at 7:30 in the morning, and it clearly showed a tumor on my pancreas.
这边有一个字叫 tumor and pancreas. Okay, so he got a cancer, and he found that he's going to die. And this cancer it becomes a curable. Okay, C-U-R-E-A-B-L, curable 是可以治疗的。So at the end of his speech, he mentioned that finally they're cured.
Similarly, negative things in social.
影片不对。
对啊，
Significant differences become a grand canyon of sorts.
好，它已经跑掉了。OK， 上一个。Thank you, save my way, Michelle.
Later that evening, I had a biopsy where they stuck an endoscope down my throat, through my stomach and into my intestines, put a needle into my pancreas and got a few cells from the tumor. I was sedated, but my wife, who was there, told me that when they viewed the cells under a microscope, the doctor started crying.
来，请问一下，显微镜叫 Yes, microscope. 肿瘤 tumor, OK. 胰脏，有没有记得胰脏 pancreas, yeah. 然后胰脏癌叫 pancreatic cancer. 癌症叫 cancer, 对不对 ？Pancreatic cancer. Okay, so it started the same word.
Because it turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. I had the surgery, and thankfully, I'm fine now. This was the closest I've been to facing death, and I hope it's the closest I get for a few more decades.
Okay, decades, decades, 10年叫一个 decades, right? Few more decades, 就是好几十年以后 decades. 我们要用纪，对不对？上一纪那个纪元的纪 last decade 就是前10年。小心这个字啊 ，D-E-C-A-D-E.
Having lived through it, I can now say this to you with a bit more certainty than when death was a useful but purely intellectual concept. No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there.
People want to go to heaven, but they don't want to die to get there. 他不想要死了以后才去 ，okay? They do want to get to heaven, so everybody is afraid of dying.
And yet, Death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. And that is as it should be, because death is very likely the single best invention of life.
So, I remember I asked you, why did he say that death is the best thing, invention of life?
It's life's change agent.
See, change agent，这边 agent， 你如果查字典 agent 是那个经纪人，对不对？So, it should be like change system or change agent。但是每一届我觉得它翻的还不错，OK， 就是一个机制，转换的机制。So that is a change agent，OK。
It clears out the old to make way for the new.
Clear out，一个单词片 ，clear out the old and make way for the new。Make way 是帮谁开路 ，clear 清楚什么东西，然后帮新一代能够开路。Make way for the new。
Right now, the new is you. But someday, not too long from now, you will gradually become the old and be cleared away. Sorry to be so dramatic, but it's quite true. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma.
Don't be trapped by dogma. OK，dogma 这个字在托福它是属于托福的单字，比较不常用，但是它比较常用在学术界的字眼。dogma 很奇怪，跟 dog 有关系啊 ，D-O-G-M-A dogma 教条。You teach dog what to do and they will obey, right? 好，所以 means that the thing that people told you to do and you will follow it. Sort of like a rule. Okay, dogma, D-O-G-M-A 教条的意思。So he said to you that don't be trapped by that. Okay, 不要被困住。
Which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice.
Okay, drown your inner voice. Drown out 把它这个淹没。Inner voice means the voice something in your heart. Okay, you be drown out your inner voice. So don't do that.
And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition.
Again, intuition. 再一次，对不对？又出来了哈。So you need to follow your heart, follow your inner voice, follow your intuition. You do
They
something.
somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
OK， 来次要的 secondary， 这个字是托福的多义的词汇，我感觉他好爱这个字。Secondary，second 是第二，对不对？然后加 ARY，secondary。No, not that important. Second， 次要的哈。
When I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog, which was one of the Bibles of my generation. It was created by a fellow named Stuart Brand, not far from here in Menlo Park, and he brought it to life with his poetic touch. This was in the late 60s, before personal computers and desktop publishing, so it was all made with typewriters, scissors, and Polaroid cameras. It was sort of like Google in paperback form 35 years before.
我让你学的这个字， so it mentions something, show it on a journal, on a book. It's sort of like Google, but in paperback, like paperback 是纸做的，好，是纸卷的这个 Google，OK， 那个 paperback.
Before Google came along. It was idealistic, overflowing with neat tools and great notions.
来，另外一个是 idealistic， 理想化的。So it was very idealistic and with nice tools and nice notions, nice concept.
Stewart and his team put out several issues of the Whole Earth Catalog. And then, when it had run its course, they put out a final issue. It was the mid-1970s, and I was your age. On the back cover of their final issue was a photograph of an early morning country road, the kind you might find yourself hitchhiking on if you were so adventurous.
Yeah, 什么叫 hitchhike? Hitchhike. 它变成 normally you on a road and for free, you try to hitchhike. So So it's a very nice word for you to do a backpack tour. Okay, if you go on a backpack tour, go somewhere, and then you hitchhike. Okay, how? So if you're very adventurous.
Beneath it were the words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." It was their farewell message as they signed off. Stay hungry, stay foolish. And I have always wished that for myself. And now, as you graduate to begin anew, I wish that for you. Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Okay, 你看它真的翻得很好哈。Stay hungry means you're hungry for all the knowledge, you're hungry for all the unknown things. Become very curious about everything, every people around you. But you stay foolish, and you will, try to input yourself with new knowledge, but absorb new knowledge as well. Okay, so especially for you, I picked this speech by Steve Jobs, one of the legend of really a legend of our generation. Okay, now, so you have already taken notes about a lot of keywords, right? Okay, these keywords, 这些 keywords is something that you learned today. So maybe you want to, put it somewhere in your notes, okay? 今天这些 keywords 你会在 final 会再看到一次。Okay, so yeah, 最好把它都记起来 ，try it. Okay, I urge that you have. Okay, so make sure that you keep notes about all the keywords here. Okay, yeah. 然后好。